Hey everyone, welcome back. This is part 2 of our little AllTrails UI clone series. This is another live stream recording. In part 1, if you haven't seen, I'll link to it below, but in part 1, we built the scaffolding of the project, the top bar, the bottom bar, and a couple other things. In this one, we work on the heart of the application, which is the vertical scrolling list of the different trails that we can view. Hope you enjoy. Happy Tuesday. I have a little bit of a scheduling conflict tomorrow, so we're streaming on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday this week. Hope that works out for all of y'all. But if you were able to make it here, I appreciate all of you. We're gonna keep working on the AllTrails UI clone that we started last week. I thought more about it. I love this plan. It's been fun. I've had this idea for a while. I want to take. Actually, let me just open it up on my own device here. I've been wanting to do this for a while where I just take like an app that I find pretty and interesting and to see if I can build just a UI clone of it in Compose without worrying too much about making it functional. So in this example, we can actually click on these different tabs, but in our app, they're not going to do anything differently. I just want to recreate this home screen and maybe some of the subtle details about it, like being able to scroll through this list, see how the floating action button changes, and work on a couple of those things. So that's what we're doing last week, this week, maybe one more week too. Because I think what I'm going to do with the plan here is, so what we did, here's the AllTrails one, you can see, lost my device there for a second. Is what we did last week is we set up the scaffolding. We did not build the list items, which is what we're going to do next. But you may also notice that this is using, just the material UI components, which some of it looks very similar to what we have in the AllTrails app. The icons are different. But specifically, if we look at this bottom bar, this is the Material 3 bottom bar versus in AllTrails, they have their own sort of, it's similar, but you don't have the material sort of highlight around it. And some of the buttons are slightly different from just the outline button. We get straight out of material. All of this to say, I think maybe after we sort of get the components down, it would be fun to dig a little deeper and see if we could get closer to matching this. I don't know that we'll ever be able to get the iconography the same, given that these are, probably proprietary icons, but we might be able to, get the bottom bar, like, to look and feel a little more like this one. I think that's like a follow-up step after getting everything we want sort of in place. Hey Trax, how are you doing? How's your week going so far? I was just doing a recap of everything we did last week and some plans moving this forward. But now let's go and try and actually let's build out this list component because we haven't done that yet. So there's a couple things to note here. That there's really two types of list items. This first one, we're probably not going to build this fancy, this is very cool, this like map reveal. That might be for a later day, because that looks complicated, but there's two types of list components. There's this first one where the image, it's got sort of this rounded, cornered image by itself, with the bookmark icon, but then there's like this group container where I call it a group container because I notice here it says like 2 trails. So it looks like these are usually like state parks and national parks. And so we need to be able to show either style of cards. So let's see if we can build out those next. I'm going to start by doing, let's do like a trail list item, a single like trail item. So let's go into our thing and we'll call this trail list item. Yeah, why not? And let's walk through this. So with doing this, I'm not going to worry. Similar to the other UI stuff, I'm trying to decide if I want to like have a parameter that passes in all of the text components for this. Let's leave that out for now, and let's just build like a preview version of it, and then maybe if we want to, we can pull out some of the components to get this to uh be more customizable. But we'll do a little triple pane thing here. We can have our previews on the right, what we're trying to build on the left. The only other thing that we need here is I don't have an image to use for this. Let me see if I can find something. Free nature images. That's probably I'll just pull a stock photo from here. Let's find a good trail one. This is a good one. And let's save this into our project real quick. Whoops, no. Okay. So let's start with this image component. Love Gemini for doing all of that. Let's also let's make this a column, and we'll put our root modifier on this. Well, let's dump our image in here. We have to do a couple things here. So let's do for this one, let's do modifier fill max width. Now I think I would consider this having a 1-to-1 aspect ratio. Also, this might not want to be a column. I might actually want to make this like a box component, but what's my render issue? I probably need to build and run because I added the thing. Okay. Oh, and we'll want to give this a content scale. Let's do content scale.crop. Like that. Okay. We do want to give this I believe we could do clip, and then we could do rounded corner shape. 8 dips might be a little small for this. Yeah, let's bump this up. 32. Yeah, 32 looks okay. Let's zoom in a little bit. So let's do a couple things here. Let's bring this out into its own thing. We're going to make this trail image. But I do want to make a little box around here because there's a couple things that need to be added on top of the trail image. And I see. Do I want to clip? Do I want to do all this on the box itself? Oh, not quite. Whoops. Okay, I think this is getting what I want. I do want the clip to be around the box, not the image. Let's just clean that up really quick. And so now we can talk about things on top of it. So like we've got this bookmark icon. So let's move them. Let's just to make sure nothing comes through. We'll turn notifications off there. So yeah, so I think we could do this through an icon button. Do I want filled icon button? Let's just see what we get from an icon button. Off the start. Was it going to fill it out for me with the right? Well, okay, I don't want image actually here. We could do icon. We could do icons.default.bookmark. I don't know if this middle pane might be a little small for everyone to follow what I'm trying to do. So let's actually, you can see it here. I'm going to close this. I have it in front of me, but we'll see it come together on the right a little better here. Now this should show up. I don't know why this has clip. We don't want to do anything to that yet. This should be on top of the image, but I don't see it. So let's do something like this really quick. Let's do, we could do modifier.align. We could do alignment.top end. Oh, I see it. It's just kind of hidden because of the color is not what we want. So let's do, well, we could do a couple things here. So we can give this a background. We could do material theme color scheme. Do I want background? Maybe. Let's see. I just want to see something really quick. So here it's black to create the contrast. Let's see if that's theme dependent or not, though. It is. Okay, so it does seem like if we use the background color here and then the outline changes. So we can do that. Let's do that. So let's make sure we theme this properly. Oops. So we're getting somewhere. But let's do, okay, so let's go back. So our icon button is going to have this background. Let's clip this to a circle shape. That needs to happen first, I believe. We do want to probably give this an offset as well. But I don't know if that's, yeah, and so I don't want that. Let's do, well, I can make it negative. And I could say y equals, I could do 8 in each direction. What's the alternative? Oh, I see. Is 8 enough? Let's bring it in a little more. Let's do 16. I also think we'll probably end up making this a little smaller, to be honest. But the icon, let's do here, let's do bookmark outline, bookmark border. And we're also going to do tint is going to be material theme color scheme on background. Nice, that looks better. So this is still dark, but I think that's kind of the nature of the image we chose, pun intended. Let's see if we can make this a little smaller. I want to see how this does, it makes it 40 dips, which is kind of large. I'm going to roll with it though, because that's probably their default for accessibility purposes. So let's pull a couple things out. Oh wait, did I? Oh, hold on. I messed up trail image. Okay, yeah, I screwed a couple things up here. But that's fine. I want trail image. And let's make this a private function. We'll call this, I do want the, I do need to keep the box scope. Call this bookmark icon. Make this box scope. Could pass in the modifier, but we'll do it that way. So that's good. And then the other thing, the next thing we need to add is you'll notice that these have little pager indicators for having multiple images. So what do we think? Should we add... I feel like we should add an image carousel here. If we truly want to have like good like clone behavior, but let's start by let's see if we could just make that indicator really quick, because I actually don't know if there's an out-of-the-box pager indicator. I think there was, but let's see if we can find out a pager indicator. Oh, look, I've Googled this already. Add a page indicator. I wonder if there is one or if I have to make my own. To add an indicator to a page, use the pager state object to get information about which page is selected and draw your custom indicator. Okay, so they do recommend like you would do a custom one, but it's super easy to add. Okay, so yeah, instead of this being an image, this should be a pager. Let's come back to that. So we'll say, for now, show a static image, but we should convert to a pager if we want to match the AllTrails UI. Because I would consider this functionality that I wasn't necessarily attempting to match with the existing clone, but it's something I would consider. So can I zoom in on the screenshot? I can here. So a couple things to note about this. So there's always 3 dots visible, it looks like. And we have one that is selected, one that's unselected, and then an indicator that something is upcoming. So if we switch to the second one, we kind of see that there's a couple different states. So here, this one is big enough because it's the last one. But this one is showing, hey, there's more than one to the right. And then when I come here, I see like, oh, there's more than one to the right and to the left. So that's some interesting logic. And maybe I'm going to go a little bit deeper on this than necessary to build like a true UI clone, but I think this is a fun one to look at because pager indicators are something every app has, and it can seem really daunting. But I actually think to do this in Compose would actually be very quick. So, well, quicker than we think it would be. So let's go on a little adventure to build that really quick. So I'm going to make a new thing for this, and we're going to call this, we'll call it AT pager indicator. And we'll set up previews for this, actually. This would be nice to have. So we'll do AT pager indicator. And let's set up a preview. And we'll end up putting a couple things in here. So what do we need for a pager indicator? Well, we need we need like an active current page index. But we also need total pages, right? And I think that's good enough. So let's do like let's call this like a start pager indicator preview, right? And we'll say current page index could be 0. Total pages, let's do 5. So it's a big enough number. Let's do a couple of these. So let's do a middle pager indicator preview. So we'll say current index is 3, total pages 5. And we'll do an end pager indicator preview. And we'll say current page index is, I guess, 4. Maybe I want this to be 0, 1, 2. So it's like truly in the middle. And nothing's going to happen yet. So what do we need for a pager indicator? Well, we've got a row. Really, in this case, so if we want to go with this idea of, there's a couple ways you can make a pager indicator. So in the example from the Compose docs, actually, you can see they show multiple buttons. The way they do that here is they have a row, and they use this repeat function to loop through the page count And they make these circles, which are basically boxes with a little modifier. I'm going to steal this. And they basically set the color based on selected or not. And they basically will add a circle for each page number. We're not quite doing that. We may want to consider that here I'm saying, hey, let's always draw 3 buttons. But maybe we're going to have less than 3. So that is something to think about. Let's revisit that towards the end. Let's see if we can do, let's just get some dots on the screen is what I'm trying to say. So like what we can use this repeat idea. Let's just paste a few. Let's just get something on the screen. So let's do a box here. We'll clip this to circle shape. Let's do, we'll do default color. It could be like material theme, color scheme, let's do on background. Let's make this the selected color. And then we could do default color, could be like selected color.copy, and we could do alpha, could be like, make it just like, 33 might be a little low, but we're going to find out. We'll make this one selected color. We'll make it 16 dips. And we'll import all these extension functions really quick. So we'll make this one default color and default color. Nice. Okay, we've got something. Let's also do let's do a little thing. Let's do a little like surface specifically, because then we can also do we can set the color to the background color so we can see what that actually is that right? I'm just noticing that this is supposed to be night mode, but the background, oh, because I only added that to one thing. I want to add that surface to all of them. I should parameterize this preview. That's what I should have done. I should have parameterized this preview, but we can see it kind of working here. So we've got our boxes. Let's think about the logic here. So I'm still hung up on this, like, what if there's less than 3 case, but let's imagine that's not the case. So let's imagine we've got 3, and maybe as we walk through each step, we'll figure out how we can, like, simplify this, right? So for item number 1, well, so I'm just thinking. So what are the states item number 1 could be in? If we're saying there is more than one item to the left, if more than one item to the left, it's small. If the last item, if it's the leftmost item, I guess we could also say, maybe another way is to think about it in indexes. So if item 1 represents index 1 or greater, show small. If item 1 represents index 0, but not selected, show big default color. And then if item 1 represents index 0 and selected, show big selected color. So we want to build something like that. So I think we can build out this logic pretty well. Um, and then I guess index 2 is kind of the same thing. Like, sorry, I'm really thinking through this logic, and I'm like, this is how do you build that out? It honestly would be simpler to build. Maybe we can go with the simple solution as like a working a working version, and then we can do the customization as part of our other AllTrails specific polish later on. So if current page index equals index, we're going to do, oh, we got high plump. Thank you for the biddies. And then a color scheme that on background. Oh, well, here we'll do selecting color. We already filled that out. Else default color. Okay. So this is what we've got for now. Where we don't have the fanciness of changing, of having like 3 buttons and seeing it animate, but we've got, gotta hydrate. Cheers. But we've got a pager indicator, and we'll continue to improve upon this when we do some of the other AllTrails specific polishing later. So let's go to our trail list item again. And we've got our box for the image, and we've got our bookmark icon. So let's also do hydration for peak performance. Yeah, I'm going to remember to turn my AC on so I stay nice and cool. Maybe I'll open up a window while I'm doing this. So then we'll do AT pager indicator. And for this one, we'll just do like, we'll default to 0 and 5. But let's give this a modifier. Let's do modifier.alignment. We'll do bottom center. This is really hard to see in dark mode, actually, so we'll probably want to play around with the colors. We'll do padding. I guess we could make it 16 dips all around, but specifically it's just bottom padding that we need to add. Wait, did I break it? Why did that break it? Because when I put 16 dips, it was fine. Where did it go? It was there. I promise it was there. Also, it's hard to... Okay, it's there. Okay, yeah, we could just do bottom. But in dark mode, this is really hard to see. I actually think it's better for something like this to default to white. Let's look at what AllTrails does. So here it's white. Let's look if it's always white in AllTrails. I feel like it should be for contrast. Yeah, it is a consistent color. So we should do the same in ours. Let's go over to our pager indicator again. I guess we could do just color.white. And yeah, this will be hard to see here, but whatever, that's fine. We can clean up the previews later. So even lighter dark mode, we're gonna get that pager indicator, and that's gonna look nice. Okay. All right. So we'll leave that for now. That is close enough. So I think we've actually got the image portion done pretty well. So let's I did notice that it's got like the little map preview at the bottom right. Let's see if we can find like a map. Whoops, not map nature. Let's see if I can just find like a map and we can throw something in there to make it look pretty. I want like route maybe. Nah, what do we want? I want like a map highlight. Can you give me something? Let's see if we can find something in here that is like close-ish that we could just fill the space with. Um, None of these look like the same. Wait, direction. Alright, I'm gonna skip that for now, but we could come up with some sort of map preview, and that would just be another image that would basically get thrown into this box. But I'm not too worried about that. So let's extract this out even further, and we'll say like image container. We'll call this one. So now we've got um so now let's worry about adding the text beneath all of this. So let's do text. Let's say this one, let's do like Lake Mohegan Loop. Um I'm gonna close this so we can see it better. I'm gonna throw a few different text components in here based on this, and then we'll clean it up a little further. So then we've also got like, okay, Lake Mohegan Recreation Area. And then we could do all of the stats. So we could do like 4.6, easy 2.2 miles, estimated 44 minutes. All right, and we're gonna do more. We're gonna do more with this. But let's start here. So what do we want to do with all this? Well, this one is obviously, we can even extract these out actually. Let's do that real quick. So let's do trail title. We can do like trail park, we'll call it trail. What do we want to call it? Not a park. I don't really want to say location because that sounds like city, but like trail location makes sense. Trail group, maybe? Trail group. We'll call it trail group. And we'll call this one trail details. So let's go back to our title. We could definitely make this a little nicer. So style here, let's do material theme dot typography. Here, let's do body large. You didn't change at all. You don't look like you changed. We could do title small, maybe? No, title large? Actually, I kind of like title. What's title medium? We could do that. That looks bold. Um, bolder, which is fine. Um, we can do on the group, we can make this label medium, label small. Label small looks good. We're gonna do the same thing on trail details. I think they're actually the same style more or less. Um, Obviously we're not matching their typography here, but we should also theme this one as well. Just so we can see what this looks like in sort of light and dark mode. Let's do, before we do all this, let's call this one trail information. we'll do this column of information just to make this clear. But trail information, let's give this let's make this column. The reason I want to do this, I want to do modifier, and I want to give this top padding. So we've got a little bit of spacing there. Maybe that shouldn't be label small. Maybe label medium. It just feels like I'm okay with label medium here, but then I need to figure out how to make this one. I feel like title large was a little much. I can live with this. It bothers me that they're the same color, actually, which is another thing that I want to do here. So let's do let's make these a little bit of a different color. So well, we could do local content color. We could just give it like a little less alpha. Like, what if I gave it like 75? That's actually pretty good. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's polish it up just a little bit more. Let's see if we can find the bullet character. And replace these. So this looks a little cleaner. And then you'll notice on AllTrails, there is a little star icon here. I did this in Pocket League, actually. There's a way to do this. Add icon to text compose. I don't want to steal exactly what we did. We need to build an annotated string, right? And then we add inline content. So let's do that really quick. Let's do build annotated string. We will append all of this. I guess we could do append inline content. Do I need to we'll do rating icon. Yeah, and then we'll do all this for now. And this will not show the thing yet, but we need an inline content map that will replace the information. I'll just copy this from the blog post, and then we'll talk about it. So this inline icon map, just a whoop, I did not want that. I want you to disappear. Basically tells the text to replace the placeholder string by the composable given in the inline icon text object. So we give it an ID, which here I'm going to repeat rating icon, inline icon text content, give it a placeholder. I don't remember using a placeholder in bind. Maybe I did. We'll do icon step build that star. Tint, we're going to do local content color. Current, actually, steal this real quick. And then we're going to make this content color. And so here the tint will be content color. Do I really need that modifier? I feel like that's wrong. Put arguments in separate lines, add names to call arguments. But I don't, and then I think I need to use, I just give it inline content. That's enough. I feel like it was more complicated than that in Pocket League, but that didn't quite work. Let's make sure that I did that right. What am I missing? All right, let's go back to my other project. Let's go back to where we know that we've done this and see if we can find inline icon text and the whole thing. Get annotated string. Append inline oh, because I wrote append here. I need append inline content. There we go. That is huge. Okay. What do I do? Width and height are based on the local font size, which makes sense. Much better. Okay. I feel pretty good about the way that looks. Maybe if we wanted to be like a little bit smoother on the trail information, we could do vertical arrangement that's spaced by 8 might feel like a lot. Yeah, let's just do like 4 dips. Give it like, no. Nah, okay, maybe the line height is enough there. That's totally fine. And then the only thing missing from this trail list item now is a little download button. So let's add that. And the way that looks like it works is this trail information let's pass in this modifier, which we'll talk about why in a second. Yeah, you should always do this, by the way, but I just actually, yeah, I'm gonna take this out and do this with the other part. Because we're gonna instead make another row here. And talk about why in a second. So we make that a row. We're gonna do fill max width. We'll do on this one, we'll do the padding top 16 dips. We'll give this one a weight of 1. But then we want a little icon button. We'll do this isn't quite what I want. Let's do icon. We call that download. Well, I like downloading, but I don't want it to look like active, so we'll just do download. I like that AllTrails has the circle around it, so I kind of want to do we could do modifier that border. We could do like okay. It's actually kind of close, but I think I want some padding first. Padding after the border? Okay, but not 8 dips. Like 2. 4. It's not the same icon. Maybe I actually don't like the way that the circle looks. Maybe we do get rid of that. I do notice that there's so much padding on this that it feels lower than I want it to be. Like, I like here how it's kind of in line with the text. But I guess now that I'm looking at this on my device, like that is a small touch area. We'll see how this looks on a physical device. Maybe we'll play around with that spacing, but I would say that we have the basics done enough to go back to our scaffold. And fill this in. So let's just add a couple. So let's do trail list item. Let's do like 3 items. And let's pull this out into trail list. And this one is actually a column scope. This is Kotlin, yes. Welcome in, Otakanda? Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. All right, let's run this on device and let's see how it looks. Okay, so a couple things we're gonna fix. The sizing is not quite right. The spacing is definitely wrong. So let's work on those things really quick. So the spacing we can do on the lazy column here. So we could do content padding, we could do padding values, we could do 16 dips on this. But I think because of the bottom bar, I just noticed a couple things here that we can clean up. Let's add the content padding. Let's also do the vertical arrangement. Let's do 16 dips in between each item. Let's run this, and I'm going to call out a couple other things that I don't like here. Okay, this arrangement doesn't look like it worked because the text is still bumping up item to item. Okay, so a couple things here. So, first of all, it's because that's being treated as one item. So, I guess I could also have done something like this. I could do items. I think I can give that a count. And I could do trail list item. So that should give us a little nicer spacing between each item. Okay, a little closer. Now, one thing you'll notice, y'all see this right here? There's a space between the item that's being scrolled and this bottom bar. So where is that coming from? Well, this screen altogether is a column, and we've got this vertical arrangement, which is putting 16 dips in between each item, which is super convenient, generally. But now what it means is it's putting that 16 dips above this bottom bar, also between these buttons in the bottom bar, which we don't necessarily want. And so if we remove those, we might still be okay because the trail list has the content padding. Why did we do column scope.trail list instead of just trail list? That is a great question. Let me just check this out. Okay, so I like the way this looks. I might put a little bit of padding below. Let's on the button row. So this is actually we can talk about it right here. So let's talk about what. Okay, let me show you by going all the way back to what I had, and we'll talk about it. So everything here is in a column. And in Compose, and you probably already know this, but I'm going to clarify it in case so everyone's clear. A column lays things out vertically. So I'm going to have my search input, below that my filter row, below that this lazy column of trail items, and below that the bottom bar. Now to get this structure where I have these items at the top and the bottom bar at the bottom, and to get the trail list to fill the related remaining space, I use this weight modifier. So the lazy column, we have the content padding, we have the vertical arrangement, which is spacing between the items, and I tell this, okay, I want my trail list to be the max width, and I want to fill all the available space. Now, that fill available space idea only makes sense in a column. So what would happen if I want to extract this out into a separate function, right, and put this in here? If I don't use column scope, you'll notice that the weight modifier, it can't be found. It's going to give me some recommendation by default. This won't work. None of these that I import are going to work, because if I look at the weight modifier that we were using, you'll notice that it's kind of hidden, but it's up in here. It only works inside of a column scope. Because again, like this concept of a layout weight doesn't make sense by itself. It makes sense in a column, it makes sense in a row, but even in those two cases, it's a little different. So that's the reason why. But there's actually two potential solutions to this. What I did here, by just making this also an extension on column scope, allows this to work, but I've run into now a little bit of a problem where I've forced myself to only be able to use the trail list inside of a column. So for example, if I made something new, let's say I made like a new screen, and it's just a brand new thing, and I try to reference a trail list, I can't, because trail lists, like, it just can't even be found, right? Because this is not a column. So that might be fine for your projects. You might be okay with that restriction, but sometimes people don't want to do that. Sometimes they want the trail list to be used anywhere. So another alternative to this is have your private function and then have this consume a modifier that if there's, location specific modifiers like a column weight, that can be passed in, at the call site. So we could have this use the modifier that we're given, and then up here where I create the trail list, notice I'm still here, I am in a column here. This is where I can say, okay, I want this to have the one weight modifier, and this should work still. Yes. So I get the same UI, and now my trail list is sort of independent of where it lives. I would argue, based on principle, this is what you should do. I typically would not recommend this column scope sort of idea, because while it works well and it's fast, it just it kind of forces you into a corner. And you'll know as you're building if that's okay or not. You know what I mean? Like, if you're like this component up here, this button, like, we knew this was going to be a row, and it's probably always going to be a row. So it might be fine to use like a row scope there. But something like this, where I have a list of items, I probably shouldn't force it. Yeah, I could see that. So I think you'll know, some components might have one idea, some might have another, but you'll trust your instinct as you're going, and you'll figure it out. So the only thing left I want to do on this really quick is, now that I've got this to scroll well, I want to play around with this spacing a little more. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. So filter button row, I did give that its own modifier, right? So we can do we did fill max width, but let's also do padding. Let's do vertical 16 dips. Don't know if this is going to be great, because now this gap is a little larger. So what we can do is we can go to our content padding again, and here we can do horizontal is 16 bits. But I do still think we would want the bottom. So I guess we can do like start top we'll do 0, but we'll do end and bottom at 16, yeah. And let's run this and see how this looks. Okay, I like the way that looks. I like the way this looks a lot. I should be scrolling it here. Nice. So let's commit this really quick. We'll say adding trail list item. And I'm going to set up a pull request for this, but then we're going to do one more thing before we merge this one. Where we add the other list item type. Detect failure, magic number. Let's turn that off for this project. Because this is just a UI thing. Disabling magic number check. Yeah, the scope modifiers, by the way, that's something you'll start to find. Now that you're aware of it, you'll start to see that more often. That there are certain modifiers that only make sense for certain types of components. And so you can decide either, like you said, you can either scope your own component like that with the extension function syntax, or you can pass in the modifier, which I think the latter is more flexible, personally, but if you know with certainty that that something is only used inside of a column and it needs a certain weight, like I think that's totally fine. Adding trail list item components. I'm putting components because we're gonna add more. So adding list item for a trail and group of trails. UI previews and running device. We'll add screenshots before we merge this. But thank you for the follow, Otaconda. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream again. Hope you are having a great lunch, by the way. All right. So what is the next thing that I want to do? So we've got well, actually, one other thing I want to do. So this image feels huge. Even though I gave it an aspect ratio of 1, which should make it I put it here. Should I have put that on sorry, hold on. Let's look at this. Should I have put that on the box itself? Still, like in the preview, it looks square, but on device, it feels not square. And I don't know if that's just like my depth perception is off. But I think that maybe we can make it like a little 1.5 might feel too squished. Let's just play around with it. We'll trial and error. Oh. I said it would feel squished. I feel like 1.5 actually is a little nicer. Sorry, I think the emulator looks choppy in the recording. Or not emulator, because this is on my own device, but Um, I said it would look squished. I think that looks a little better. Changing aspect ratio. Oh, is this the image file? That's the image file. We'll definitely want to commit that, or the CI is going to fail. Thank you for the follow. For those of you who don't know, I stream in light mode because I want to burn everybody's eyes. Actually, every time a sub is either gifted or someone subs to the channel, my device should automatically switch between light and dark mode. So if you're burning your eyes, there's a way around that. But also, if it's that bad that it's truly hurting people, let me know. I would happily change it myself too if it became that much of a problem. Right. So back to AllTrails. So let's go to the real app for a sec. And let's talk about the other list item type, which is, so we've got this idea for like a specific trail, right? But we did have, of course, now none of them are showing up. We could have a bigger one like this, which looks like it's for a group of, works better since I'm watching while working out in the garage. Hell yeah. Get those gains. We've got this other list item, which is for like a trail group. So let's build that out real quick. That should be another quick one. So let's call this like I'm going to call it a trail group, even though it's usually for like parks or something, but we'll call it like trail group list item. We'll do a preview for it. We'll theme this. While we're here though, let's go ahead and look at let's see if we can find like a different image. Let's do this one. We'll just save a different image for this specific row type. So we'll do a similar thing as before. Let's make a box. This one I will make a full 1 aspect ratio. Because I think that one should be a little bigger. Oops, let's get the previews open. Well, let's finish typing this out. We'll also clip this. We'll do round corner shape. I think we did 32 dips on the other one. And then in here, we'll put an image. We'll do painter resource, drawable dot national park, null. We will do content scale dot crop. Let's build and run this. Beautiful. And then we need to put a some text on it. So let's do text. I'm going to steal this from what I'm looking at. So we'll do Trout Brook Valley State Park Reserve. Hey guys, everything good? Adam, just want to share that even though my native language is Spanish, I can clearly understand what you're saying. Your pronunciation and explanations are to the point. Kudos for that. An amazing but underrated skill on Twitch. I really appreciate that. Because I don't put any thought into it. But I really appreciate that. I mean, I tried to be very explanatory, but I don't really think about like the enunciations of what I'm saying. Actually, fun fact. So some of y'all may know is that I have more of a nasally voice than most. And that's actually due to the fact that I have basically chronic congestion that I've dealt with for my whole life. And it actually has related to issues with my nasal passages. And I saw an ENT recently and walked through it. And they actually told me about a procedure they can do to help with that, which will clear up my sinuses, make it easier to breathe through my nose and stuff. And as such, they're like, actually, people notice a change in their voice. She's like, I don't think you should go and become a singer, but you may notice like a change in your voice a couple months after having this procedure done. And I'm like, I'm kind of fascinated by that. And I think that's one of the cool things about streaming is I can go back and look at like old streams and I'll be able to like see the difference because I might not notice it personally. I'm excited. This is months down the line, but if y'all show up in a couple months and you're like, "Oh my God, Adam, you sound different," um, that'd be cool to see. Let me know if that something like that happens. Um, all right, let's throw the other text on here, and then we'll also fix up the style as well. Here we'll do 10 trails. Um, let's go back to the other trail list item just to steal this little bullet character again. All right. Let's do a couple things. So these texts are on top of each other, so we can make this column. We can move these by doing close, actually. Gemini, this is very close to what I want. Oops. I do want to make these. Trying to decide if I want the text to always be white. Let's look at what AllTrails does. I feel like, again, text on the image, I feel like should always be white for good contrast. Yeah, okay. Just confirming what they did for curiosity about what that might look like. Um, the color, let's do material. We could just do color.white. I have more nasal voice too, but I think it's more because of my lifelong bad posture and bad breathing. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to guess, but I'm sure it could be any sort of things. Let's make this a little bigger. So let's do style. Let's do I feel like title large is even smaller than what this usually is. What if we do display large might be too much. Yeah, it's a little much. Ooh, display small though. No. Headline? Playing around with all the different ones. Ooh, that's a pretty good one. We're gonna do headline large on this one. And I think we can keep this one as is actually. That looks. I like the way that looks. I mean, obviously we don't have the same typography, but I'm content with how that looks. Something we can do. Let's do this. Let's do uh let's play around with putting a like gradients behind this to try to make it a little more readable. So we can put, do we want the gradient to be just on the text component? Or do I want it to be over everything? I'm kind of thinking about putting it on top of everything. Let's put it on the text component for now. So we've got this modifier. So we can do background. If we get a brush and a shape. So what we can do is here we could do brush. We could do brush.linear. What is it? Linear gradient. We could do colors. Yeah, I think something like this. Okay, this is close, but I guess I want horizontal gradient here. Wait, what is the difference? What's the difference horizontal and linear gradient? Oh, one is basically the same. One's an extension of this. What if I want it to be vertical? Oh, there is vertical gradient. Okay. That's actually perfect. That's exactly what I wanted this to look like. We could change the sort of where the gradient shifts, but I like the way this looks a lot. Um, Sick. Okay. So let's go to our content item and let's in our trail list, let's throw in a random let's do like 4 items and we'll say like if index is equal to we're gonna hard code this equal to 2, we're gonna do trail group list item. Nice. Nice little hard codes there. Let's see how it looks. I think that looks great. I think that lines up with the other UI pretty nicely. Let's push this up. We'll say adding trail group list item. All right, so I feel pretty good about this. I think what I would want to do now is spend a little bit of time revisiting this, what is in this example, a behemoth of a pager indicator. And let's see if we can make something that's a little, even if we don't animate it yet, let's rethink how the hell to make this work. So hmm, yeah, I'm really stuck. So let's talk it out. Let's talk it out some more again. Because I'm gonna need to write down all of my thoughts to really get this. So the leftmost circle, there's 3 states, right? It can either be selected, unselected, or showing more content. Showing more. And like not showing more, but indicating that there's more going on. Middle circle, this one's interesting because it's either selected or unselected. And then rightmost circle, it's the same thing as this other one. It's either selected, unselected, showing more. Now this is assuming there's always at least 3 pictures. So to do, what if less than 3 pictures? We'll say pages here. Okay. Well, let's talk more about leftmost circle. So what does it mean if the leftmost circle is selected? This means index is equal to 0. Like, selected index is equal to 0. If it's unselected, that implies selected index is equal to 1. Because I would just be showing that. If I'm showing more, that implies selected index is greater than 1. It means, hey, my selected index is far. I guess actually let's look at AllTrails really quick because I think it's a little more complicated than that. So if we look at this first one, so when I go to item 2, I still see the big dot. Yeah, okay. So sorry. 0, 1, 2. Yes. Okay. So if the middle circle is selected, that implies index is greater than 0 and less than total pages, right? Minus 1. Well, we'll say greater than 0 and less than last index. And if it's unselected, this is implying the index is equal to 0 or the last index. I love that Gemini can fill my comments out too. And then in the rightmost circle, we have sort of the opposite logic, which Gemini has graciously figured out. Close. If I'm showing more, it means the selected index is greater than the last or less than the last index. That's one, like there's still more. This is Gemini that was doing all of that. So if there's less than 3 pages, I guess there's the other thing, right? Like if there's okay, so I wonder if what if there's exactly 3 pages? Maybe it would still be the dot, the small dot. I'm not sure. Um, we could kind of go with that. Um, if the total pages is 1, we wouldn't show a circle. Yeah, show. I guess we wouldn't show if 1 page show nothing. If 2 pages show 2 dots. Um, okay. So, okay. So, what if we just steal this logic and we sort of hard code it into each circle? Um, we could do leading indicator. Um, we're going to steal this. We could pass in we could pass in all of these things. And we're going to do a box. I don't want to do. Well, okay, so this is on. Let's pull this out. Hold on, let's think about this just for another second. Um, how do I want to do this? One thing is, let's make this a reusable thing. We'll call this indicator dot. Indicator dot's going to need a color and a size. I don't even know if I want to force padding on this. Oh, the padding is helpful, I guess, because it would show. I would rather just put the padding in my row. So I prefer to do it. Okay. So we can put stuff in here. We've got the selected color, the default color. We can give it we could do a similar thing. We could do selected size. Could be, 16 dips. Default size. Selected size divided by 2. And that's not even, we'll do, I don't want to call it default size. I want to call this like, what's a name? What's a name for this? Well, actually, I guess we could call it, rather, we could call this default size. We could call this mini size. Actually, let's just use that on the, yeah, we'll do default size divided by 2. Okay. So, let's steal this idea. So let's do, well, I don't want to, let's just do them here real quick. So, have a great day at work. Thanks for stopping by again. I really appreciate it. Uh, hope you had a good time. All right. So let's do, we'll do start indicator color, right? Is we'll say if current page index is equal to 0, we're going to do selected color. I guess let's do a when statement. So it's sort of when current page index is equal to 0, we're going to do selected color, else default color. And we're going to do start indicator size. We're going to say when current page index, no, this is not right. When the current page index is equal to 0 or current page index is equal to 1, it's default size, else mini size. Come on, it's just something better, because we could definitely do, I guess I could do like less than or equal to 1. And now we could do an indicator dot, start indicator color, start indicator size. All right, I can already see it's kind of working. Yeah, I'm just passing all of this in, which feels like a lot of work, but maybe we can clean it up as we go. So then we do a similar thing here, for the mid indicator. Mid indicator color, mid indicator size. I could have refactored that. But here, so I guess when the current page index is greater than 0 and current page index less than total pages minus 1, and then we'll say, I guess the mid indicator size is always the default size. Um, and sorry, let's just steal this one more time. And we'll do this for like the end indicator. So end indicator color, end indicator size. So if the current page index is equal to total pages minus 1, selected. And then if the current page index we'll say total pages -2. Yep. Call this end indicator. Okay. So yeah, oh no. Okay, that's only 3. Um, do I have Sorry, let me just make sure that I have adding make sure I had a quick item for like follower only chat, or maybe I would do sub only chat if that happened again. I'm just making sure that if there was more than 3, if that ever became a real issue, I could easily turn that off. Um, I'm a little confused why these light theme ones didn't work out. Because the color should be, oh, I always default to white. Oh, that makes sense. So yeah, okay. So let's just set these to like black. I guess actually here, let's just do this. Let's clean up our previews. Um, because this isn't really themed. So we just need like a preview, but we don't need like a light and dark version of it. Okay. So I can see the 3 different states as I'd expect. But one thing we want to change really quick is up here on our row. We also want to do vertical alignment, center vertically. And I think this is actually pretty good. It doesn't change, but we can see that it would work. Um, and I would even make, maybe let's do default size 12, community size like 8. We'll keep that as 8. Maybe that'll look a little nicer. We can also do, yeah, I'll make them a little further apart. I think the unselected is a little more transparent than I want as well. So let's do like half. Nice. Okay. So we don't have the pager functionality to prove that it would adjust, but I feel pretty good about that. What we can do is we can do some corner cases here. So we could add a um like small count, and we could say like 0 out of 2 pages. Why didn't that crash? I expected that to have crashed, or to just not show the end indicator. I guess that should have been like, oh, yeah, okay, I guess that's kind of working by design. Oh, not quite, because all right, the small count is actually still a weird corner case, but I'm looking at the time, and that might be something we pick up on next time, because I have somewhere to be soon. So let's push this up as it is. Indicator. let's update this as it is. Let's get a screenshot of it for GitHub. Because I want to just record this actually. All right, and let's add those to the PR. Of course. Wait, why don't I have the button? Is this not a thing? Where's my button? Can I not update a comment like that? I don't know. First, nailed it. All right, it's fine. It works. Let's do a quick, let's just do a clean build locally and see that it does work. But so what we'll do now, well, not now, because I'm about to wrap up, but what we'll do next week is we will take this, since we have proven we can kind of match the clone a little bit. And what I want to do next week is see if we could do a couple more like polishing touches on it. To compare it to the real thing. So make some changes to the bottom nav. Let's actually make this like a pager of different images. Yo, String Daddy with the resub, and the theme switcher happens automatically. Hell yeah, it works. That's so exciting. That was the first time seeing that in action. So feast your eyes on dark mode. You can all thank String Daddy for bringing it back. No, it's not Wednesday. We're dog sitting later this week, and our friend's dog's coming over tomorrow night. So I had to be available for that. So getting the streams in tonight. How are you doing, String Daddy? How have you been? We were just talking about probably wrapping it up, but yo, and the gift sub. Appreciate you. Chat's popping off. Tired but very well. That's good. Tired works well. Yeah, flashbang. Um, how's how's poker life going? I'm actually thinking about making a uh trip out your way in the next couple months. I'll let you know if I when I set that up. Um Things are going good. I just passed my first month at Airbnb. It's going great. I've introduced my first bug already and fixed it. Um and several other fire drills. You know how that stuff goes. Um, but it's been fun. A hiatus from poker. That's totally valid. I feel like it is a bad hobby to have when you're already stressed out. Um, I think I told you this before. I love watching videos on YouTube of some of the like professional card counters. And, you know, as a mathy person, um, I've never questioned my ability to be able to be a card counter. I know myself, I could not handle the emotional fortitude required to be a professional gambler. Like when hearing some of the card counters talk about like, oh yeah, like we've won in our lifetime, but we've lost 30 grand in a night. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, you can tell me the numbers and I could believe you that the long game makes sense. I could not lose 30 grand in a night and then continue to go back at it. So that like they're just built different from that perspective. Uh, it's wild to think about how they are able to detach themselves from the numbers that they're working with. Um, but like for every one of those nights, there are positive nights, and they are all positive on their career, which is crazy to think about. Um, it's really fun watching some of the like Stephen Bridges videos as well as like the Blackjack Apprentice interviews on YouTube. It's a cool channel to check out. So yeah, our thing on stream recently, String Daddy is I wanted to play around with just taking like an app on my phone that I thought looked nice and focus on just building like the UI of it for a learning exercise. And so I was looking at AllTrails in particular because I think this is always just a very pretty app. And we've not matched it one to one, but we've tried to build a sort of clone-esque version of AllTrails. Hey, Wild Dog, how are you doing? I guess actually, now that I think about it, there is one other thing. Let me hide this. Let me make sure my friends aren't messaging me to get on yet. All right, no one is rushing me to stop streaming. So, one other thing we could do before we sign off that I realized we never did is this floating action button. I'm doing great, thanks. There's like this floating action button which switches to a map view. I'm not sure I'm gonna do that because that whole animation thing is a little complicated, but not really a new app, just doing a little UI clone. Trying to rebuild this AllTrails UI. But we're not making it functional, it's all hard-coded stuff. But let's do that floating action button. I'm gonna squash and merge this really quick. And then let's do that floating action button before we end stream, because that'll be fun. All right. Because I think specifically what would be fun about it is getting this like grow and shrink animation. Maybe we could figure that out, even though we're not doing a lot of other animations yet. Okay. Map fab. Okay. So let's start by let's start with the floating action button. Any plans of putting this on YouTube? Yes. I say that every time, and I know I've been slacking, but yes, I think this would be a great series. Because we did a mix of it over the last 2 weeks, but I think this would be a fun one. I actually got inspired to do this by another YouTuber I used to follow. I wish I could remember their name. But there was a YouTuber who would do a lot of Flutter challenges where they would take an app, a popular app, and they would build it in Flutter. I remember watching them build like a Tinder clone in Flutter. And it was just like an hour and a half long video, but they built like the swiping animations and everything, and you could drag the card, and it was cool to see them put that together. I'm sure if I wasn't streaming and I was just building it, I could also do it faster, but it was always a really cool series. Let's go to, okay, so a couple things here. So I don't remember it. If I can think about it, I'll send it off stream, but so this one is actually, let's put this in a box. And the reason I want to put this in a box is because let's actually the box should fill max with is because I want to put the floating action button on top of this. Is it extended floating action button? I think so. Let's look at the docs for this really quick. See if we can find the docs for this. Okay, so there are 4 types. There's a floating action button of ordinary size, small, large, and extended fab. And I'm pretty sure extended fab is what we want. So what are our options here? We've got the on-click, right? There's a shape, and then there's content, which is a row. So content here is a row. Let's add an icon. Let's do icons at default. Let's see, is there a map icon? Nice, there's a map icon. And let's do some text, and we'll just say map. Do I have a preview for this? I do, nice. Okay. Right. We will need to do a couple things here on this floating action button. So we'll do modifier. We'll do align, alignment bottom center. We'll probably want to give this padding. Let's do 16 dips all around. Maybe even a little more. 32 might be a little much. Oh no, that's what's 16 plus 8? 24. Well, 24 will meet in the middle there. I do notice this fab shape doesn't extended fab shape is it's just the thing. Okay, let's give this a better shape. Let's do rounded corner shape 50. Give it so it gives us that nice little oval shape. Nice. Okay. Let's do a little bit of a spacer here. Modifier, width 16 might be a lot. Let's see how that looks. Oh my god, that. Yeah, 16's a lot. Let's do 8. And actually, maybe a better thing to do, and I'll talk about why in a second. Let's put this as front padding. On the text, because we're going to want to animate the text disappearing. So let's run this, and I'll show you what I mean really quick. So you see in AllTrails, whoops. Okay, yeah, maybe 24 is a lot. Maybe it should be 16. But we see in AllTrails as I scroll, it is the text animates. So let's see how we can build that. So one way to do that, there's a lot going on in this function. But lazy column has a lazy list state. Okay, so let's do remember lazy list state. And we're going to pass that in as a thing here. And I think what we can do is we can do state dot. Wait, did I? It's all in the same. Oh, it's list state. Layout info. I don't want to look. I could look this up and figure this out quickly, but I kind of want to look into this myself. So what we can do is on the text, we can do animated visibility, right? Invisible could be list state that first visible item index. Wait, what are you saying? Hold on. Frequently changing state should not be directly read in composable function. Property is observable and updated after every scroll or remeasure. If you use it in the composable function directly, it will be recomposed on every change, causing potential performance issues. Prefer wrapping it with derived state of to use calculation based on this property in composition. Okay, so we could do something like that. We could do like derived state of list state dot first visible item index. And we can now down here, we could say if the first visible index. So I don't know if this is quite, this is going to give us the exact same look and feel. Oh, it does actually. As soon as the first item is off screen, which I feel like is a little later than how this one does. Yeah. I think we can work with that though. Hold on. If first visible item scroll offset. I think that might be what we want. Instead of the item index, we want the item offset. Look at that. That looks great. Um, is it me or is that... Okay, I'm not crazy. That's a lot of padding on this floating action button. Um, but I don't know if I can change that. Yeah, the extended fab padding is what it is. Um, I suppose if I didn't want to use an extended floating action button, I could use something else. Like I could just use a large floating action button. Um, oh, but that's like a fixed size in. That's like a minimum. I think it's okay. The padding is a little large for me, but I'm okay with that. All right, so we got the nice little animating fab. So let's um and animating on scroll. I like the way this looks, and so we'll push this up real quick, and we'll make this pull request, and then we'll call a stream right around 9:30, right on time. Adds fab on top of list container and animates text visibility based on scroll position. And testing. And let's get rid of all this. All right, create a pull request. Hell yeah! So let's see it again. Let's pull this out into a bigger thing. So we've got a search container at the top. We've got this wood scroll, but it doesn't have multiple buttons. But we do have this scrolling container. And we see, oh wait, lost the connection. And we've got this scrolling container of items. Is it not? The ID is not showing this properly. I wonder if running this on an emulator would show up better for y'all. I think it's my cable is a little bit wonky. Let's see if I could show this on a emulator, if it'll look a little nicer. There we go. Yeah, I can see it coming through in OBS now. And if we scroll back up to the top, all the way to the top, we can see our map icon again. And we've got two different container types, right? So we've got our list item for a specific trail, and then we've got like our national park, like our group one. This is pretty cool. We got a lot of UI work done tonight. I feel good about that. So let's see if we can find somebody to raid and call it a night. Let's see. Probably Lando. It's a Wednesday. Let's go. Oh, and I can't see chat. All the way to 19 viewers. Oh, thanks. It's a good one. I gotta bring back my day streams. So that's when we get the most viewers. Yeah, let's go to Lando. Let's go play some Rocket League. Seeing if anyone else. Yeah, we're gonna go raid Lando. So thank you all for coming by. I'm hoping, let me look at my schedule. Oh, next week, I believe on next Tuesday, Harry Potter Quidditch Champions is dropping, which is like Rocket League on brooms. I'm very excited. I was in a couple playtests for it. It's very cool. I plan on buying the game. I also plan on streaming the game. I don't know if that'll be next Tuesday or Wednesday or what, but I'll be sharing that. Also, hold on, let me just check chat. I'm glad it was helpful. I'll get these up on YouTube soon. Maybe I'll have some time this weekend to do all that. We're gonna go raid Lando. I'll see y'all soon. By the way, if you're not following me on any of the various social sites, you probably are, but if you're not, Go follow me wherever you like to get your content. And yeah, see y'all next time.